Welcome to Captain English Podcast. I'm Paul.
And I'm Alice. We are so happy you are here with us today.
Yes, we are. Today, we have a very interesting and helpful topic, especially for our listeners who are just starting to learn English or want to practice. We're going to talk about our daily routines from morning to night. It's a great way to learn new words and phrases you can use every day.
That's right, Paul. Everyone has a daily routine, right? It's what you do every day, usually at the same time. So we will share ours, and you can listen and maybe even think about your own routine in English. It's a fantastic way to practice. Paul, let's start with the morning. What do you usually do first thing in the morning?
Okay, the morning. My day always begins quite early. The very first thing I do, usually around 6:30 a.m., is I wake up. My alarm clock rings, and I open my eyes. Sometimes it's hard to get out of bed, you know?
Oh, I completely understand that feeling. It's cold outside the covers. So, you wake up. What's next after waking up?
Well, after I wake up, I usually stay in bed for a few minutes. I check my phone quickly, maybe look at the weather. Then I get out of bed. My first stop is the bathroom. I use the toilet, and then I brush my teeth. It's important to have clean teeth.
Yes, it is very important. So you wake up, check your phone, get out of bed, go to the bathroom, and brush your teeth. What about washing your face or taking a shower?
Good question. After brushing my teeth, I wash my face with some cold water. It helps me feel more awake, and I usually take a shower in the morning. A nice warm shower helps me start the day feeling fresh and clean.
Ah, a morning shower, that's great. My routine is a little different. I wake up usually around 7 a.m., but before I even get out of bed, I like to stretch a little bit. Just move my arms and legs. Then I get up and go straight to the kitchen. My first thought is coffee.
Coffee! Yes, I understand that. So, coffee is your first priority. Do you make it yourself?
Absolutely. I turn on the coffee machine. While the coffee is brewing, I go to the bathroom. I brush my teeth and wash my face, just like you. Sometimes I take a shower in the morning, but sometimes I take it at night. It depends on my schedule.
That's interesting. So, after coffee and your bathroom routine, what about breakfast? What do you usually eat for breakfast, Alice?
For breakfast, I like something simple and quick. Usually, I have some yogurt with fruit, like bananas or berries, and a little bit of granola. And of course, my coffee! Sometimes, on weekends, I might make eggs or toast. But on weekdays, it's yogurt.
That sounds delicious and healthy. My breakfast is often toast with jam or sometimes cereal with milk. And I love a cup of black tea in the morning. No coffee for me. After breakfast, I get dressed. I choose my clothes for the day. This usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes.
10 to 15 minutes, that's quite fast. I think I take a little longer to get dressed. I like to think about what I'm going to wear. After breakfast, I also get dressed. Then I brush my hair and put on a little bit of makeup. My goal is to be ready to leave the house by 8:30 a.m.
Wow, 8:30 a.m. is a good time. My goal is usually to leave by 8 a.m. So around 7:45 a.m., I pack my bag. I check if I have my keys, my wallet, my phone, and sometimes my lunch if I made it. Then I put on my shoes and my jacket, and I leave the house. I usually take the bus to work.
You take the bus. That's good for the environment. I usually walk to work. My office is not very far from my home, so it's a nice walk, about 20 minutes. It's good exercise too. So let's recap the morning routine for our listeners. Paul wakes up at 6:30 a.m., brushes his teeth, showers, eats toast and tea, gets dressed, and leaves for work by bus around 8 a.m. I wake up at 7 a.m., make coffee, brush my teeth, wash my face, eat yogurt and fruit, get dressed, and walk to work by 8:30 a.m.
Exactly. It's great to hear how different, yet similar, our mornings are. Now, let's talk about the middle of the day. What happens after you arrive at work, Alice?
Okay, after I arrive at work, I first turn on my computer. I check my emails to see if there are any urgent messages. Then, I start working on my tasks for the day. I usually have a list of things I need to do. Around 12:30 p.m. or 1 p.m., I take a lunch break. I usually bring my lunch from home, so I eat in the office kitchen with my colleagues.
That's smart, bringing your lunch. It saves money and time. My routine is pretty similar. I get to my office, turn on my computer, and check emails. Then, I start working. I also have a list of tasks. For lunch, I usually go to a small cafe near my office. I like to get out of the office for a little while, even if it's just for 30 minutes. What do you do after lunch, Alice?
After lunch, I go back to my desk and continue working. The afternoon is usually when I have meetings or focus on bigger projects. Sometimes I have a short coffee break in the afternoon, around 3 p.m., with a colleague. We just chat for a few minutes. I finish work around 5 p.m. or 5:30 p.m.
Same here. I usually finish work around 5:30 p.m. So, let's move to the evening. What do you do after work, after you leave the office?
Okay, so after I leave the office, I walk back home. It's a nice walk, as I said. When I get home, the first thing I do is change my clothes into something more comfortable, like sweatpants or pajamas. Then, I usually relax for a little bit. Maybe I sit on the sofa and read a book, or scroll through my phone for about 30 minutes.
That sounds nice and relaxing. I also change into comfortable clothes when I get home. Then, I usually prepare dinner. I enjoy cooking, so I often make something fresh. What about you? Do you cook dinner, or do you order food?
I often cook dinner too. I like to cook simple and healthy meals, maybe some pasta with vegetables, or chicken with a salad. Cooking helps me relax after a day of work. While I'm cooking, I sometimes listen to music or a podcast. Oh, speaking of podcasts, if you're enjoying our conversation today and finding it helpful for your English, please remember to subscribe to Captain English Podcast. It really helps us a lot.
That's a great reminder, Alice. Yes, please subscribe. We love having you here. So, after cooking, we eat dinner, right? What time do you usually have dinner?
I usually have dinner around 7 p.m. After dinner, I clean the kitchen and wash the dishes. Sometimes I load the dishwasher if there are many dishes. What about your evening after dinner?
After dinner, I also clean the kitchen. I don't have a dishwasher, so I wash all the dishes by hand. It's a good way to stay active after eating, I guess. Then, I usually spend some time with my family. We might watch a TV show together, or sometimes we play a board game. If I have some free time, I might read a book or listen to music.
That sounds like a lovely evening with family. I often watch TV shows or movies in the evening. Sometimes I call my family or friends. I try to relax and unwind before bed. I might also prepare my clothes for the next day so I don't have to think about it in the morning.
That's a very good habit, preparing clothes in advance. I should try that. What about your evening routine, like right before bed? What do you do to get ready for sleep?
Okay, so around 9:30 p.m. or 10 p.m., I start my wind-down routine. First, I go to the bathroom. I brush my teeth again. I also wash my face and apply some night cream. I like to feel fresh before bed.
Brush your teeth again? That's good. So you brush your teeth twice a day. What else do you do before you get into bed?
Yes, twice a day. After my bathroom routine, I go to my bedroom. I turn off the big lights and turn on a small lamp. I might read a book for about 15-20 minutes. It helps me relax and get sleepy. Then, I turn off the lamp and get into bed. I usually try to be in bed by 10:30 p.m.
That's a good sleep schedule. My routine before bed is similar. Around 10 p.m., I go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and wash my face. Then, I go to my bedroom. I might do some light stretching or meditate for a few minutes. I try to avoid looking at my phone or computer right before bed. because the screen light can make it harder to sleep.
That's a very smart idea, Paul. Avoiding screens is good for sleep. So, after that, you get into bed?
Yes, I get into bed. I set my alarm for the next morning, usually for 6:30 a.m., and then I try to fall asleep. Sometimes I listen to some quiet music or a podcast, a calm one, not an exciting one. I usually fall asleep pretty quickly, around 10:45 p.m. or 11 p.m.
And then the whole routine starts again the next day. It's interesting how many things we do every day without even thinking about them. For our listeners, we hope this detailed talk about our daily routines helped you learn some new words and understand how to talk about your own day.
Yes, think about your own routine. What time do you wake up? What do you eat for breakfast? What do you do after work? Try to describe your day in English. You can even write it down. That's excellent practice.
Definitely. And remember, practice makes perfect. The more you listen and try to speak, the better your English will become. So keep listening to Captain English Podcast.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Captain English Podcast. We had a great time sharing our routines with you.
Yes, thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. We'll be back soon with another helpful English lesson. Until then, bye for now.
See you next time. Goodbye.